Hey there, welcome to my channel Pagan Crafting. I'm Kara. This video will be about witchcraft without spending any money. So you want to be a witch? Hmm. Maybe you've been always drawn to moonlight or forests, candles, tarot cards, folklore, herbalism, maybe crystals. You have a strong intuition. You have a feeling there's a deeper hidden beneath the ordinary life. Something you are drawn to or feel missing. That child wild in you. Or maybe you recently started discovering witchcraft online and suddenly found yourself fascinated by spell work, little mojo bags, spell bottles, nature magic, energy work, or divination, especially seasonal living, symbolism, or spiritual creativity. But if you're completely new, it is always very quickly, it can feel quite overwhelming. There are thousands of opinions online. There's thousands of aesthetics. Even more, thousands of books out there. I got tired of reading and I didn't know what to do still after reading sometimes. Social media can make witchcraft feel so confusing, intimidating, and even expensive. Where do you start? Where does it all begin? You may have been told you need a list of all magical tools from start that is so expensive all at once. Oh my gosh. You may even feel defeated before you even start. So where do we begin? I just want to say something important. You do not need to know everything immediately to begin practicing witchcraft. But what you do not need again is a giant altar, expensive crystals, rare herbs, fancy ritual tools like a chalice, a thame, or a stave, or even perfect knowledge. Some of the oldest witches in histories, they worked with nature, observation, storytelling, prayer, energy work, and handmade tools. Witchcraft begins with connection. So, what do we work with connection? Well, connection to yourself, nature, spirit, symbolism, intuition, energy, and your creativity. So, today I want to create a very beginner friendly guide to start witchcraft slowly, safely, and naturally with ideas and inspiration. There's no pressure, there's no gatekeeping, there's no perfectionism, just a calm beginning. I'm going to give you 13 different points for you today. Number one, what is even witchcraft? One of the first thing beginners often ask is, what actually is witchcraft? Honestly, there isn't one single answer. Witchcraft is incredibly personal. It exists in many forms and cultures and history. For some people, witchcraft is deeply spiritual. For others, it's quite religious. For some, it's activism. And others is completely secular and focused on mindfulness like psychology, symbolism, nature connection, and energy work. All these together or separate. Some witches even work with deities, some don't. Some practice spell work, some don't. Some focus entirely on herbalism, energy work, or divination. Some witches are deeply ritualistic. Some of them are even part of a coven and often practice quietly and privately. Some others do. There are many paths, including green witchcraft, hearth, kitchen, folk magic, divination, lunar witchcraft, head witchcraft, even art witchcraft is coming out, ancestral work, energy work, and seasonal spirituality. Truthfully, you don't need to choose a label. You don't need to choose a label at all for that matter. One of the healthiest things to do for a beginner is simply explore slowly without forcing themselves into an identity or a box too quickly. Allow yourself to learn naturally and find your path just by experiencing what the craft has to offer you. And number two, start by observing nature. Now, one of the oldest foundations of witchcraft is observation. Long before modern books and internet information, witches learned from forest, weather, animals, season, stars, river, dreams, moon cycles, anything you can think of that's outside. One of the best beginner practices is simply learning to slow down, notice the world around you, and pay attention to the moon phases each night. The changing weather, bird behavior, plants growing nearby, seasonal plants, seasonal smells, how different places feel emotionally during times of the year, a sunrise to sunset, to storms, wind, rainfalls. Nature teaches cycles. growth, death, rebirth, and rest. Transformation is huge. Becoming deeply observant changes the way you experience the world spiritually. You begin to develop awareness instead of simply rushing through life. Number 3, keep a living journal or grimoire. One of my favorites. One of the best tools for a beginner witch is to have simply a notebook. Your grimoire doesn't need to be expensive or this beautiful leather-bound book full of rich mahogany. A messy written hand, artistic, simple, emotional, practical. That's all you got to be. Think of it as a living, breathing art grimoire, as an extension of yourself. You might enjoy my Grimoire with Me series. It starts from the first page of your book blessing to loads with so much more information to correspondences. Basically, it's all about you. You can follow along my PDF downloads I provide with my Patreon and my Pagan Crafting Etsy store. I also have a whole playlist of my Grimoire with Me I'll add in the description below, as well as the comments. But as I was saying, your grimoire is a spiritual and magical journey. You can record so many things in it, such as dreams, moon phases, tarot readings, emotions, ritual, herb findings, profiling, symbols, affirmations, spells, ideas, synchronicities, signs in nature, meditations, and seasonal observations. Over time, your journal becomes incredibly meaningful because it documents your personal growth and spiritual evolution. It becomes uniquely yours and no one else's. Number 4 is learning basic energy work. First and foremost, before protection, something good to learn. Before jumping into complicated spell work, it's one of the most important things a beginner can learn as beginner basic energy awareness. Many forms of witchcraft and intention focus energy. Simply beginner practices can include grounding, centering, visualization, meditation, breathe work, energetic projection, easy stuff. Grounding means reconnecting yourself emotionally and mentally to stability and calmness. For example, you may sit quietly. Imagine your roots growing from the feet deep into your earth. Picture stress leaving your body and calm energy rising upward. Visualization is another major skill. For protection, many witches imagine white light around their body or mirrors reflecting negativity, roots anchoring them, protective fire, shields of light. All these exercises may sound simple, but they build concentration, intuition, emotional awareness, and a spiritual focus. Energy work often becomes more important than physical tools. Number 5, you do not need expensive tools. No, this is one of the most important messages for beginners today. Social media can sometimes create an impression that witchcraft requires expensive crystals, elaborate altars, giant herb collections like an apothecary, aesthetic decor, rare ritual tools, but witchcraft existed long before online shopping. Historically, many witches worked with kitchen herbs, river stones, candles, handmade charms, bones, sticks, threads, prayers, firelight, symbols, simple divination tools. A beginner witch can absolutely start with a notebook, a candle, nature, intention, meditation. These are all free. And honestly, handmade and personally gathered tools can often carry a stronger emotional and spiritual connection than mass produced items. Number 6, start learning herbs slowly. Herbal magic can feel overwhelming because there's hundreds of herbs out there to learn, hundreds of correspondences, but you do not need to memorize everything immediately. When I first started, I picked 4 herbs a season, and I learned all about each herb and worked with it and cooked with it and consumed some that I was able to, made teas out of others. And may I suggest first just try edible flowers and herbs. That way you can get to know it on so many different levels and ways other than just profiling the plant. I would also draw each herb from top to bottom, from flowers to leaves to roots, and it's a really great way an intimate way to get to know the details of each plant. If you're a digital baby or don't like drawing, photograph your plants. Learn and make a cool profiling journal. Have PDF downloads for plant profiling. I'll leave that in the link in the description down below too. If you do consume or burn any of your herbs, make sure you cross-reference as to they are safe to do so. Burning some could be poisonous, consuming some as well. Start with common accessible plants like rosemary, lavender, mint, cedar, pine. chamomile, rose, a basil, bay leaf. Learn and profile the plants. You can learn the magical symbolism. You can look up the planetary ruler, elemental ruler, masculine or feminine energy, the scent, emotional associations you have with that plant, season to harvest, traditional uses, folklore, medicinal uses. Take your time. Pick only a handful at once, or like I did, slowly just choose four and build a knowledge over time through experience. Let it happen naturally. Number 7, try simple divination. Many beginners feel naturally drawn to divination because it encourages intuition and reflection. Divination can include tarot card, oracle cards, pendulums, runes, witch's rune, Fulthark runes, tea leaves, candle reading. You do not need to become an expert reader immediately. It's all about the experience. First, then mastery later. Beautiful beginner practices simply pulling one tarot or oracle card daily and asking, what energy should I focus on today? What lesson might be present at? What emotion needs attention? Divination works best when approached with curiosity rather than fear. Number 8, you can learn about protection first. One thing many experiences witches recommend early is learning spiritual and emotional protection. Not because everything is dangerous, but because boundaries matter. Protection practices can include these simple things: grounding, visualization, cleansing, salt, protective herbs, prayers, affirmations, and emotional boundaries. Protection magic is often less about paranoia, more about balance and emotional safety and a healthy spiritual awareness. And number 9, you want to start with simple spell work. Don't be elaborate and go into like days and weeks and months spells. You do not need elaborate spells to begin practicing witchcraft. Simple magic can include lighting the candles with intention. You may have some birthday candles. There's a start. The colored, they're better. Look up magical correspondences to your birthday candles. Make a wish, write it down, burn a leaf, activate your desire by sending it up into the universe. Simple bay leaf magic. Writing affirmations. Make it witchy, make it cool, make it uniquely you. Kind of sound like a cat in the hat. Making herbal sachets or mobile mojo bags, little trinkets, charms, anything with emotional connection you're creating, throw in a little baggie, create some energy of memories and a nostalgia. They're so much fun to make and you can't make a mistake. Each is unique. You may add color correspondence and charge it up and activate it with moon water, solar water, fire, wind, earth for that slow energy. Activate fire for wind and fast activation, water for emotional activation, and so on. These are all the kind of things you can do with sigils. I did a sigil video on how to activate that, but we'll get into that another day. Moon journaling. I love moon journaling so much. I made a book on how to moon journal with daily prompts for each day of the month with 13 months for the year. I'll throw in the Amazon print on demand link in the comments below and in the description for you if you're interested. So another idea is blessing tea, organic foraged teas. This is your time to shine. Forage for and make your own blends. Burning bay leaves with wishes or desires or manifestations. That you can write on the leaves, and the power comes from focus, symbolism, intention, and emotional connection. This is not complex at all. It's fun. It's easy. Number 10, follow what draws you in. One of the best things you can do as a beginner is pay attention to what generally fascinates you. Maybe you love moon magic, solar magic, herbs, folklore, crafting, divination, mythology, simple nature walks, candle magic, dream work. Your interests often guide your magical path naturally. Number 11, learn to slowly and avoid overwhelming feelings. I think one of the biggest mistakes beginners make is trying to absorb absolutely everything immediately. You don't need to master every practice. You don't need to memorize every correspondence. You don't need to perform any advanced rituals. Witchcraft is often a lifelong learning. I'm still learning. I've been doing this since I was 16 and I'm 52. Move slowly, read gradually, experiment gently, allow yourself time, my friend. Trust your intuition. Intuition becomes one of the most important tools a witch develops. Pay attention to reoccurring symbols, dreams, emotional reactions, your instincts, synchronicities in nature around you, spiritual feelings. Your intuition strengthens through the observations and trust you have within yourself. Last, number 13, there's no perfect witch. You do not need perfect rituals, perfect aesthetics, perfect knowledge, and perfect spirituality. Real witchcraft is personal, comes within, evolving emotionally, messy, creative, and deeply human. Allow your path to unfold naturally, and your practice will change over time. It will, expect it to, because that's part of the magic. If you're just beginning your witchcraft journey, I'm excited for you. I hope this video reminds you that magic does not begin with perfection. It begins with curiosity, awareness, and connection. You do not need expensive tools. You do not need to rush. Or you do not need to become someone else. Start small, observe nature, learn slowly, trust yourself, and allow your practice to grow naturally over time. Witchcraft is not about escaping the world. It's often about learning to experience the world more deeply. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join me here on Pagan Crafting for more witchy, creative, magically inspirational, and seasonal living. Until next time, stay grounded, stay curious, and stay magical.